Hello everyone, welcome to Mr. Daigle's classroom. Today's lesson we're going to be looking at numbers with decimals and turning them into fractions or mixed fractions. So let's take an easy one first. Let's take 0.25. Let's turn this number into a fraction. So the first thing that we need to look at is we need to look at the decimal point. There's no numbers to the left of the decimal point, which is where our whole numbers would be. So since there's no numbers in front of the decimal point, we know we're not dealing with anything that's whole. So anything to the right of the decimal point is our fraction. So I'm going to write my fraction bar and I'm going to put 25 on top of it. Now, the one thing that we need to know is what is the place value that the 2 is in. The 2 is in the tenths place value. So underneath the 2, I'm going to write 10. I have another number here, it's a 5, I'm going to put a 0 underneath it. I've taken 0.25 and turned it into 25 over 100, or 25 100ths. Let's take another one now that has a whole number in it. So let's take this decimal and let's say it's 3.21. Let's take this number and turn it into a fraction, or a mixed number. First thing I need to do is I need to identify that I do have a decimal and I do have a number in front of the decimal, which is my whole number. So I'm going to take the 3 and I'm going to put that as my whole number first, and then I'm going to draw my fraction bar. Anything that comes after the decimal point is our fraction. So I'm going to take the 21 and I'm just going to write it right on top of the fraction bar. Now, again, just like the first one, we need to pay special attention to that 2. The place value that the 2 is in is the tenths spot. So I'm going to take a 10 and write it underneath the 2. I do have another number, it's a 1. I'm going to place a 0 underneath the 1. So again, I've taken 3.21 and I've turned it into 3 and 21 over 100. Or 3 and 21 100ths. Let's take another number that's a little more complicated. Let's take 987.6543. Now this number, we're going to do it the same way we did the other ones. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to identify the decimal point. We've also noticed that we have a number to the left of the decimal point. That's our whole number. So I'm just going to write that number again, 987. And then I'm going to write my fraction bar, and I'm going to look everything that's to the right of the decimal goes on top of my fraction bar. So 6, 5, 4, 3 goes on top of my fraction bar. Now again, the 6 is in the tenths place value, so underneath the 6 I'm going to write a 10. Underneath the 5 I'm going to put a 0. Underneath the 4 I'm going to put another 0. And underneath the 3, I'll put another 0. Now, if we could simplify this number, this would be where we would simplify the number. But for this lesson, this will work. I've taken a number with a decimal. I've addressed where the decimal is. Every number to the left of it is a whole number, so I've placed it there, 987. Everything to the right of the decimal is my fraction. So I've placed it on top of my fraction bar, paying special attention to the first number, the 6, it's in the tenths place value. So I placed a 10 underneath the 6. I took my 5 and I wrote a 0 underneath it. I took my 4 and wrote a 0 underneath it. I took my 3 and wrote a 0 underneath it, and now I have my fraction. I hope this lesson was helpful. Please come back and join us for additional lessons. Thank you so very much. Have a great day.